First of all, I have seen how also non-healthcare workers have been operating successfully also RALs. And I think on myself, like if they can do it, why us that we've been taking care of patients and families and we have this empathy, that's why we came to these professions, why we cannot also start this. So I think this is just a way for me to spread the word that there can be successful collaborations like I have with my business partners.
Welcome to the Physicians and Properties Podcast, the show where we teach you how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want.
Doctor!
Now, here's your host, Dr. Alex Schloe.
Dr. Luis Chug, welcome to the Physicians and Properties Podcast. I'm so excited you're here. And for folks that are listening, Dr. Chug is a quadruple board certified physician. You heard that right, quadruple board certified physician in internal medicine, pulmonary medicine, critical care, and sleep medicine. He has done a lot of awesome things. He's the founder of Breathe Sleep MD in Houston, where he helps patients with complex lung and sleep disorders. He's also an entrepreneur, an educator, an investor. And we're going to talk more about his journey, but together with his wife, who is an acute care nurse practitioner, they've built a diverse real estate portfolio spanning short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, long-term rentals, launched a hospice business with nurse practitioner partners, and he's been exploring some incredible opportunities in residential assisted living to address the growing need for senior care. At the heart of his story is collaboration and how healthcare professionals from different disciplines can unite together to create powerful partnerships. I'm really excited to dive into that today. Dr. Chug, welcome to the podcast. How are things going?
Great, Alex. Thanks again for inviting me. It's an honor to be in your podcast.
Oh man, the honor is all mine. It's been so cool following your journey over about the last year and getting to know you. And it's incredible what you've done, incredible what's coming in the future. I'm super excited for you.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it has been quite a journey, and lately joining the RAL room and meeting you guys has been like awesome. I really appreciate the knowledge, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talk about this.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into your real estate journey, your assisted living journey, let's talk a little bit about your origin story in medicine. So you have four board certifications, which is incredible. You've had an awesome medical journey. Can you share how you kind of share your journey into medicine and how you balance like such intense training and 4 board certifications and family? How did all that happen? So take us back to when you were getting started in medicine. What was that like for you?
Sure. So first, I'm originally from Peru. That's where I did my medical school. And then I migrated here and I started my residency in New York and fellowship in Kansas City, which is one of my markets. And now after that, I moved to do my sleep fellowship here in Houston, where I stayed. And I married my wife, Jill, who is also a nurse practitioner, critical care. And I'm a father of 2 awesome kids. And yeah, then afterwards, I joined a practice and I stayed here in Houston.
That is awesome. Yeah. Just what a cool journey. I love Peru. I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but I got to spend a couple weeks in Peru after I finished the step 1 board exam. No, sorry, actually during 4th year of med school, had some time off and me and a good buddy who is an Air Force trauma surgeon now, but we went to med school together. One of my great friends, Bentley, and one of my good friends, Seth, we went to Peru for a couple weeks. We had the best time. We flew into Lima and then we took a bus to Cusco and we did this like cool adventure trek where we mountain biked and whitewater rafted and hiked and zip lined and all kinds of cool stuff to Machu Picchu and then did Machu Picchu. And man, it was an amazing time. We had a blast. And so I definitely love Peru. All the people we interacted with were so nice. Yeah, it was an awesome opportunity for us. It was super cool.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. It's a very touristic place, very good people, good food, a lot of things to do. And the Inca Trail did that too. I went like 6 times to Machu Picchu. It's amazing. And I didn't know that. We have to talk more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do remember one thing that was wild was we were at Machu Picchu and the guide was telling us that a couple days before there was a family from Germany, and they were standing on like the edge of Machu Picchu, and they were trying to take a selfie with the ruins in the background. They weren't paying attention, and the whole family walked off the mountain, and they all died. It was crazy. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never forgotten that. Every time I see a picture of Machu Picchu, I'm like, wow. But when you get there and you experience it, you're like, man, I could totally see how that could happen, because it's just so steep and so vast and just absolutely beautiful. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. We got up there at sunrise, like the sun was rising and cutting through the fog over Machu Picchu. It was amazing. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful, but definitely you have to hike a little bit. It's not impossible. Now they put more security, I think. I never heard that story. And also you have to take into consideration it's a high altitude. It's higher than Denver, and you have to be conditioned. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We climbed Rainbow Mountain a couple of days after that, which is, I think, almost 16,000 feet in elevation, if I remember correctly. And my buddy Bentley, he got altitude sickness, and it was getting pretty bad. He was just starting to not make any sense. I was like, hey, man, we got to wrap this up and get back down the mountain before something crazy happens. But he was sick as a dog on the mountain, but luckily everything turned out just fine. And Rainbow Mountain was amazing. But
first day, you have to take it easy. You get excited, you want to do everything. Yeah. But first day, you have to rest. You have to drink a lot of water, not eat too much. Yeah. So you can have a good time. Otherwise, you will be in the bathroom a lot.
Yep. There were a lot of people in the bathroom. Yep. That's awesome. Well, I could talk to you about Peru all day, but it's so cool to hear that. One question I did have, what was it like doing your medical training in Peru, then coming over to the States and doing residency and your fellowships and getting all those board certifications? What was that process like for you?
Sure. It was an awesome experience. Wonderful people, wonderful mentors. You don't have a lot of the technology over there. So things might have changed now, but we didn't have a lot of technology. So we have to rely on our clinical skills and whatever we have. After that, I start doing the steps like everybody else, and I decided that I have to go to US. So my dad did some training here, so he always talk about it and he loved it. He's a doctor too, an allergist, pediatrician back in Peru. So yeah, I took the steps. Then I did some rotations, got great recommendations. I did some research, and I ended up doing my residency in New York, and then my fellowship in Kansas City at KU Med. And then I moved here to do my training on sleep. So it was a long journey. I didn't expect that I was going to study that long, but I'm glad that I did, because that really opened a lot of opportunities for me, and I ended up really liking it.
That's great. Well, let's talk about some of those opportunities. So you're the founder of Breathe Sleep MD in Houston. What is that like, owning your own practice, getting that set up, and you've gotten a lot more active on social media and doing marketing and so forth as well. What's that process been like for you?
Sure. So after training, I joined a practice for a few years. It was a very hard work. I didn't have a lot of control on the clinic culture, and a lot of not controlling my schedule. And when COVID hit, that's when really things turned like really hard. I was day and night in the ICU. I was not being able to see my family. I had a newborn, so it was extra hard during that time. So that night, one night, I had a heart-to-heart with my wife. I told her like something has to change. So we decided like, yes, let's open our practice. So we dove in. We started taking classes. We joined some masterminds. Took some real estate. We decided that also we needed to have some financial independence, not only have a medical practice and take care of patients, but also we needed to invest. So we took also some real estate classes. And since then, we didn't go back. In 2022, I opened my practice. Thank God, things have been doing great. It opened also a lot of opportunities to me. And then we invested in real estate. We have a portfolio of one short-term rental here in Texas, Canyon Lake, 2 duplexes that are long-term rentals, and 7-unit mid-term rental. And pretty sure we can talk more about it, but that's when our journey started.
That's awesome. Was there a specific moment or event that happened? Amy, I know you mentioned COVID is a really difficult time. Was that kind of the origin story for like, hey, we have to get financial independence or some degree of financial independence and get started in real estate? Or what was that mindset shift that really pushed you towards investing in real estate?
Yeah, definitely. I always had that bag, especially when I was growing up. My parents, they had humble origins too, but they decided to start investing in some small apartments that will help them on the future. And at that time, I didn't think much about it. But growing up, I'm seeing like how those little apartments are helping the retirement of my mother. So that's when really I started like enjoying real estate. So I started reading books, but really during COVID, I never pulled the trigger until I was like completely burnout. I there was no seeing back for me. I had to move forward and do something. So I'm glad that I learned real estate, and it was not. I sound like it was like in one night. This took several years. So for everyone listening, you don't think like you have to really jump in and you have to be on that stage. You have to. It's a marathon. So slowly you're gonna get there, but you have to educate yourself.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I do think a lot of times physicians hear, these podcasts or similar podcasts and they think like this is going to happen overnight, or we're like such type A motivated people that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that this has to happen overnight or within a year or something like that. And you're right. It is a slow journey. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time. It's a marathon. It's so worth it though. And I'm sure you can attest to like the financial independence or the passive income that you've had from real estate has probably made starting your own practice less stressful. It's been it's been protective. It's been a defensive metric. You've had that income coming in outside of medicine. Anything you'd like to speak to in regards to that?
No, absolutely. I agree. Having, for me, two things I really appreciate for from my real estate journey is one, the extra income and the mindset shift. I think like that really helped me with my other enterprises. Just having that abundance mindset really helped me in my practice, in my relationships, in my family. So really, and professionally in general. So I think that's the main thing. Starting this journey, this is the first thing that you have to train yourself and think that the route is not going to be easy. There are going to be setbacks. We just spoke with one that I had recently. I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about that too. But you have to move forward. Always ask you why you're doing this, and you're gonna get to that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to keep going, and I think back to we were in Rocky Mountain National Park last year, and we go fairly often because it's not far from here. We love camping there. We just got back from a trip, but I was hiking with my son, Jack. At the time he was 3, and he really wanted to climb this little mountain that was there. And like to him, I'm sure it was massive. It was probably like 400 feet of elevation gain. And we were getting towards the top. He was getting a little winded. And I was like, Jack, do you know how to climb a mountain? And he's like, I don't know, Dad. And I was like, one step at a time. And then he just kept yelling, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time, until it ended up at the top of the mountain. And it was so cool to see, and like such a cool experience as a dad. And he still, I could ask him right now, he's sleeping. But if I woke him up and I said, hey, Jack, how do you climb a mountain? He'd be like, one step at a time. The same thing goes for your real estate journey or your investment journey. It's just one step at a time. And before you know it, you're at the top of the mountain. And sometimes you stumble, sometimes you fall back down the mountain, but you got to get back up and just keep going. So I always think about that when I think about folks getting started and being willing to take action and then continue to take action going forward.
And I love that story because really, I think like from me having that leap of faith of opening my business and my real estate really helped me also help myself as a father to educate my kids, to teach them not only about maybe a little bit of business or entrepreneurship, but to apply it, like you mentioned, into their life, into their relationship.
Yeah, what a cool opportunity for your two kids to see that, right? To like see the drive and the motivation that you've had to be quadruple board certified, to come from Peru, to be a doctor, to do everything you've done, to start your own practice, to entrepreneurship, to real estate. Like what a cool model to set for them that they're going to continue to see. And even if it's not like, hey, you're sitting them down and like really educating them strictly, they're still getting that. They're still absorbing that through interacting with you and seeing how hard you work. Yeah, it's so cool. I love that. Yeah, I feel the same way about my kids as well. It's really awesome. So you and your wife, you built the portfolio across multiple real estate classes. We talked about the short-term rental at the lake, the 7-unit midterm rental, which is awesome, and then the 2 duplexes, the long-term rentals. When you got started, which of those which of those properties were first, and kind of what led you to the initial starting point?
Oh, sure. I'm glad that you asked. So back in 2021, and this is the property that we love the most because it was our first property, and it was also extra hard because it was long-term, long distance investment. We were in Houston. We saw this property in Kansas City, right across the medical center where I trained, and we saw the opportunity because it was a big house from a doctor, a old-fashioned doctor, had his on the basement medical office, and on top he had a big family, so he had a lot of rooms and a whole parking lot next to it. So for the price it was a good deal. We dove in, we researched the market, we knew what is needed because I knew the market. They needed housing. So we renovated the whole house. We created 5 individual units with their own bathroom, which we furnished and rented each room, 5 rooms upstairs to healthcare workers. And then on the doctor's office, very cute old fashion doctor's office, we created 2 apartment bedroom, very, very stylish, but also has some ADA compliance because we wanted to get that rented to families as well if they need it. So for that, because of the location and the design, we are getting like a premium rents through Airbnb and Furnish Finder. So that's the property that is really, we really love that property because it's a mix of I think like our knowledge on the medical field, what was needed, and learning about real estate.
That's amazing. What a cool first property. And it's awesome that you use that strategic advantage of like, 1, I know this market. 2, I know that healthcare workers really need this and could probably pay a little bit of a premium. And you put all that together, and then pretty crazy that you renovated it into 5 units and then that other unit in the doctor's office as well. Like that's a pretty intense first deal. But as you were saying that, I was like, wow, I bet that cash flows really well for you. And, knowing the Kansas City market, I'm sure that's appreciated quite a bit for you as well as the market's picked up in Kansas City. So that is amazing for a first property.
Yeah, no, and I cannot take all the credit. It was my wife's vision. She probably gonna hear that and tell me like, you didn't mention me. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm already mentioning her, but yeah, it's cash flowing very nicely. It's appreciated. Now it's not a residential appreciation; it's a commercial because it's 7 units. So eventually, I'm gonna take advantage on that to refinance. I just have a nice rate as a residential that I cannot refi.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait a little bit for rates to come down. That's awesome. And great shout out to the wife. What has it been like working with her to build your portfolio?
Oh, it has not been easy, but now we are seeing the results, the legacy. The beginning, I'm more of the visionary. She's more of the integrator. So before starting something, I asked her because one time I jumped into the duplex and it was extra work. So now I make sure, and for everyone hearing this is listening, this is my advice. Always have your partner on board.
Great advice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had to ask that question and no, I feel you there in terms of the visionary, definitely. My wife now is less involved in our real estate journey, She's not as into assisted living as she was for short-term rentals. She was really excited about that and doing the design and all those sorts of things. Now she's just kind of like, hey, I trust you. Have fun, But it is fun, and it's really fun when you do have your partner on board and can experience that together, can build that together, and can see the fruits of all that hard work together. After the 7-unit property, what came next for you in terms of your journey?
So after that, we purchased 2 more duplexes in Kansas City. They are long-term, but eventually we're going to turn them into midterm rentals since we know the market. And then we have a short-term rental here in Canyon Lake, Texas. It's an Airbnb. And now actually our target has been towards elderly care. We are in love of starting a residential assisted living to take care of the elderly, to invest also in the real estate. So what we said, invest with purpose. And also with a business partner, we are going to start a hospice care as well. So that's coming like full circle so that we can leverage our knowledge of the medical networking that I have established in Houston, and also with pair that up with my real estate experience. My business partner is a nurse practitioner who is also a business owner. He owns Home Health, who is a preferred provider here in one of the big hospitals, and also Rao. So I think between him and me, we have a good lead on how to give really great product here in Houston, where we can take care of the elderly and also invest in real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like an incredible team. Let's step back for a second and talk about residential assisted living or assisted living. What, besides the purpose and the opportunity to provide awesome care for seniors that you're certainly well qualified for, what else kind of drew you to investing in assisted living?
Sure, absolutely. I think that after hearing you on social media and Dr. Sendil also in the past, knowing about the silver tsunami, I saw that as an opportunity to provide care. For many years, I have seen in the hospital, in the ICU, that there are facilities that they don't provide good care. And it's a shame because we see that elderly sometimes are neglected. And I think this would be a good opportunity for me and my wife with her experience to bring all what we learn in the medical field and apply it to this asset, which there's a lot of opportunity for innovation. And I think it's especially I think it's a great opportunity for healthcare workers. That's one of my goals as well, to try to spread the word among healthcare workers so that we can also be part of this investment.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I completely agree. I mean, of course, there's the silver tsunami, and that's the large supply demand mismatch. And for folks, you've probably heard me talk about it before. We're talking about like 600,000 to 1 million bed shortage right now. And a lot of the baby boomers haven't even aged into assisted living yet. So the supply demand mismatch is enormous. Not to mention, as you mentioned, we all know the care that's often provided at some of these big box facilities can be poor. And yeah, healthcare workers, we have such a unique skill set and position to really change the care that's delivered and really provide exceptional care and understand like, hey, how can I better take care of seniors and help them have a much better quality of life? And like, that's what I would want for my grandma and grandpa. And that's what we want for everybody's grandma and grandpa. And so it's really awesome to have people like you in the space, spreading the word, getting ready to get these homes launched, doing the hospice business. I mean, there's so many different ways that even if for folks listening, assisted living isn't the avenue, maybe it's something senior care related. And there's a lot of things that are related to the seniors aging. So I think there's a whole lot of opportunity there going forward. I know, kind of a sore subject, you're working on a deal, you got really close to closing on a deal that ended up falling through. Would you be willing to share some lessons that you learned about the process and what that looked like for you?
Sure. Well, we found actually this deal while we were touring a different route to partner with. We got a call from a lender that worked with my business partner that there was this seller selling these two RALs license for a total of 23 beds. And it was like 10 minutes from my practice, which was perfect for me because I know all the doctors around, I know the case managers, the hospitals. So we look at the numbers, we analyze, we did our due diligence. We were engaged already with a bank it was the first time I was going to use an SBA product lending product. So we were like actually pretty advanced, but then actually when I was in a family vacation in Europe, we were like a month from closing. I got this call from my partner that the deal probably is dead because we found things from the seller that the seller's history that he didn't disclose. And that totally took away the trust on the deal. And we were really disappointed. But as I mentioned to you earlier, one thing that I learned from real estate is that there's going to be setbacks, but if a deal falls off, there's another deal on the corner, and sometimes it's better. So we were disappointed, but now we are moving along. We're looking now actually to purchase land to build two luxury residential assisted living here in Houston. We're starting to look into that. So that's our new project.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. I remember, hearing about the deal falling through and being pretty disappointed for you because I know you guys put a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you got close to getting, that close. But, I think it was probably for the best. Sometimes in real estate, you just have to go with your gut and understand like, oh man, like if I feel like the seller's hiding something now or not being, fully open, that could lead to a lot more potential expensive problems down the road. And so I think it was ultimately the right call. And I think it's a good example for folks that like sometimes you got to keep emotion out of real estate or out of your investment opportunities, but it's really hard to do.
No, absolutely. It's took a lot of inner reflection and again, I have to remember to shift that mindset and look forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the classic learning opportunity, as we say all the time in medicine. Oh, this is a great learning opportunity. But sometimes you don't want that learning opportunity. But you have the right outlook for sure. And I've no doubt that you guys are gonna get there one way or another, and there is a better deal coming for sure. What has made you guys interested in starting a hospice business, and what's that look like? Obviously, your partner, it sounds like, has a lot of great experience with home health, and of course, it relates really well with senior care, and there's definitely a vertical integration with assisted living. What about hospice has got you excited to get that started?
Well, I actually did not think about it. It was presented by my partner, and that's the beauty about partnerships. They have a different view that you don't have. And I never thought about that, but I heard other doctors, especially in my field, critical care, that have success with hospice. So sometimes they are directors. The directors, they don't own that. And actually, I was offered several times that position. But he told me about this opportunity. He was involved on creating one before, but the deal didn't go through. And he told me about this opportunity. And I think with our experience, I think we can also provide good care for patients. And again, this might come handy during the full transition of our patients, because most of the patients that are in assisted living or skilled nursing facilities, they end up needing hospice. So we are going to see how that goes. Hopefully we'll have updates in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's exciting. And like I mentioned before, what an awesome team with all your guys' knowledge, experience, and connections within the area too. I think that'll be really successful for you. Is that going to be more home hospice that you're thinking? Or are you guys going to buy a separate facility and do hospice care? Or what's that going to look like for you?
No, that will be mostly a home hospice. So a nurse will go and provide a hospice and comfort care in their houses, in the assisted living, in the skilled nursing facility. So we're not going to have a location.
Awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, my grandma, unfortunately, she passed away with ALS, and it was terrible. But one of the best things that they did for her, and we did for her and her was hospice, and they just did an absolutely amazing job caring for her, treating her like part of the family, and it really helped her have a high quality of life despite a terrible diagnosis at the end, of course. And like my grandpa, I talked to him about it, and he's like, man, I really wish we got her in hospice earlier because it was such a good experience, and she really was able to die with dignity. And I was just reflecting on that. I miss her every day, but hospice was a really good thing for her. So I'm glad you'll be able to provide some really good care for other grandmas and grandpas out there. Well, on to a lighter note, physician collaboration or healthcare worker collaboration is something that you are really excited about. I agree is an incredible opportunity, both in the senior care space, but just in general with entrepreneurship. What do you feel like are some good strengths that healthcare workers have in order to work together to collaborate and provide exceptional care for seniors?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I have seen how also non-healthcare workers have been operating successfully also RALs. And I think on myself, like if they can do it, why us that we've been taking care of patients and families and we have this empathy, that's why we came to these professions, why we cannot also start this. So I think this is just a way for me to spread the word that there can be successful collaborations like I have with my business partners. It doesn't have to be doctor to doctor. It can be like doctor with a nurse, doctor with non-healthcare workers, so that you can leverage your medical knowledge and leverage their time maybe that we don't have sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great collaboration. I tell folks often, they're like, man, who do you think makes a good operator? And I'm like, probably the burnt out nurse who still wants to take care of people, but wants to get out of the hospital. They want to get out of those crazy shifts, et cetera. And they've just been worked to the bone by the healthcare system. It can be a really good opportunity for them to potentially be your operator or your manager and provide really great care for seniors.
No, totally agree. I think there is opportunity for everyone. Like you mentioned, there is going to be a significant gap of residential assisted living across the nation in the coming years. So this is a good opportunity to look for those partnerships and leverage that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a burnt out nurse and you're listening to this, reach out to Luis or myself because we might be interested in hiring you to get some routes going. But that's awesome. Well, tell us about the Facebook group that you started and the collaborations that you're fostering there, and how can folks join your Facebook group?
Thank you. Again, this started from my partnership and seeing the opportunity. So we decided to start a Facebook group. It's called Healthcare Workers Investors Network, RAD Network, I'm sorry. And we're going to, I hope that you can attach the Facebook link. Please
Absolutely.
To join. We are sharing some educational material there. We are posting our journey, and hopefully we can see more people joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great resource there. And, for folks that are listening, they want to connect with you. Where else can they connect with you, reach out to you, learn more about what you're doing?
Oh, please. You can connect to my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my email will be attached. If you have any questions about RALs, you want to start your practice, I'm happy to help here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so excited for everything that you're doing. I could have talked to you for way, way longer, but I appreciate you staying up late here on a Thursday night to record this. Any parting shots, any closing thoughts that you have before we wrap this up?
No, thanks again to you and your partners that you guys are doing an amazing job educating everyone about RAL. And thank you for inviting me to the podcast. It has been a nice experience. This is my first podcast. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. Well, awesome. Well, I'm glad this was your first podcast. That's exciting. And thanks for the kind words. And thanks for, all you do as well, educating folks, teaching folks, and being involved in the RAL room. I really appreciate that. So yeah, well, without any further ado, thank you so much. And we'll go ahead and wrap things up. With that, it's been Dr. Alex Schloe and Dr. Luis Chug with the Physicians and Properties podcast, signing off. Hey, real quick, if you're still listening to this, I'm assuming you got value from it. So I need your help specifically. My 2-year vision with this podcast is to help 100,000 physicians learn how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want. There are two main ways that a podcast grows. One is through ratings and reviews, and the other is word of mouth. If you can please leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as send this to 1 to 2 friends that you think would get value from it, we can reach the physicians that we want to reach. Thanks in advance, and talk to you on the next episode. Please note that the information shared on this podcast is for informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial or medical advice. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the host and the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense or the United States Air Force.